Sogdiana was an ancient civilization that thrived in the heart of Central Asia, encompassing parts of what are now Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and Kazakhstan. Its history spans from the 6th century BCE to around the 11th century CE. This region, often described as the land between the two great rivers, the Amu Darya, Oxus, and Sir Darya, Jaxartes, was a lush and fertile area that supported a rich and vibrant culture. Its strategic location positioned it as a critical juncture between the East and the West, connecting the mighty empires of China, Persia, and Rome. Despite its importance, Sogdiana often goes unnoticed in mainstream historical narratives, overshadowed by the grandeur of its neighboring civilizations. However, it played a pivotal role in shaping the ancient world. Known for its thriving trade networks, cultural diversity, and advanced society, Sogdiana was a civilization where merchants, artisans, and scholars flourished. It wasn't a single unified empire, but rather a collection of city-states, each with its unique character and contributions to the larger Sogdian identity. Sogdiana was also a place of interaction and exchange. Its inhabitants were masters of diplomacy and trade, adept at navigating the complexities of a world where cultures, languages, and religions converged. They were not conquerors in the traditional sense, but their influence extended far beyond their borders through peaceful exchange and commerce. Understanding Sogdiana is crucial to grasping the dynamics of the ancient Silk Road, the world's first major trade network. It was here that ideas, religions, technologies, and artistic traditions met and mingled, leaving a legacy that continues to resonate in the cultural fabric of Central Asia and beyond. Sogdiana was not just a region, but a phenomenon, a testament to the power of connection and the human capacity to thrive in diversity. Sogdiana's geographical location was one of its greatest assets, positioning it as a pivotal hub along the legendary Silk Road. Situated in the heart of Central Asia, Sogdiana lay between two major rivers, the Amu Darya, Oxus, to the south and the Sir Darya, Jaxartes, to the north. This fertile region formed a natural crossroads for ancient trade routes that connected the east and west, as well as the north and south. These rivers not only provided sustenance and irrigation for agriculture, but also served as conduits for the movement of goods and people. The region's terrain was diverse, ranging from fertile valleys and lush oases to mountainous highlands. The Fergana Valley, one of the most fertile areas within Sogdiana, was a crucial agricultural center, producing crops such as wheat, barley, and fruits that sustained its population and enriched its economy. The surrounding mountains were rich in minerals, including gold, silver, and copper, which were highly prized commodities in ancient trade. Sogdiana's position allowed it to act as a bridge between some of the most powerful civilizations of the ancient world. To the east, it connected to China and the vast empires of the Han and Tang dynasties. To the west, it linked to Persia, Mesopotamia, and the Mediterranean world. To the south, it had access to the Indian subcontinent, and to the north, it facilitated connections with the nomadic tribes of the Eurasian steppe. This central location also made Sogdiana a melting pot of cultures, languages, and religions. Travelers, traders, and pilgrims from different parts of the world passed through its cities, bringing with them their goods, ideas, and traditions. Sogdian merchants, known for their exceptional skills and adaptability, established networks that extended from the eastern reaches of China to the bustling markets of Rome. They turned their homeland into a vital artery of the Silk Road, ensuring the free flow of goods such as silk, spices, precious metals, gemstones, and even horses. The geography of Sogdiana also had significant strategic importance. Control of this region meant access to crucial trade routes and resources. Throughout history, it became a coveted territory for empires such as the Achaemenid Persians, Alexander the Great's Macedonian Empire, and later the Islamic Caliphates. These powers understood the value of Sogdiana as a key to economic and political dominance in the ancient world. Sogdiana's geographical significance was not limited to trade and politics. It also made the region a cultural and intellectual crossroads. Its cities like Samarkand and Bukhara became centers of learning and artistic achievement, enriched by the diverse influences that passed through its borders. This unique position at the nexus of multiple worlds ensured that Sogdiana played a critical role in the history of human civilization. Sogdian merchants were among the most renowned and influential traders of the ancient Silk Road. Their reputation for commerce, diplomacy, and adaptability set them apart as key players in one of history's most significant trade networks. These merchants were not just traders of goods, but also intermediaries of culture, language, and ideas, shaping the economic and cultural landscape of the Silk Road for centuries. The Sogdians excelled in long-distance trade, operating vast networks that spanned thousands of miles. From their homeland in Central Asia, they ventured eastward into China, westward into Persia and the Mediterranean, and southward into India. They were instrumental in the exchange of a wide range of commodities, including silk, spices, precious metals, gemstones, glassware, and ceramics. In return, they brought back goods such as Chinese silk, Persian textiles, Indian spices, and Roman glass, creating a web of trade that linked disparate parts of the ancient world. One of the secrets to their success was their ability to adapt to the diverse cultures and languages they encountered. Sogdian merchants were polyglots, mastering multiple languages, including their native Sogdian, Persian, Chinese, and Turkic dialects. This linguistic versatility allowed them to communicate and negotiate effectively with traders, rulers, and officials across different regions. The Sogdian language, written in an Aramaic-derived script, became a lingua franca of the Silk Road, further cementing their role as essential mediators in the exchange of goods and ideas. Sogdian merchants were also known for their resourcefulness and resilience. The Silk Road was fraught with challenges, from harsh deserts and treacherous mountains to bandits and political instability. Despite these obstacles, Sogdian traders navigated the routes with remarkable skill, often forging alliances with local rulers and securing safe passage for their caravans. They also established permanent trading posts and settlements along the Silk Road, creating a network of support and infrastructure that facilitated the flow of trade. One of the most remarkable aspects of Sogdian merchants was their role in the transmission of culture and religion. They were not merely transporters of goods, but also conduits of ideas. Sogdian merchants carried with them religious texts, artistic styles, and cultural practices, spreading Zoroastrianism, Buddhism, and later, Nestorian Christianity across the Silk Road. They introduced Central Asian artistic motifs to China and brought Chinese inventions, such as paper and silk, to the West. In this way, they contributed to a vibrant exchange of knowledge and creativity that enriched the civilizations they touched. The Sogdian merchant diaspora left an indelible mark on history. Evidence of their presence can be found in the form of inscriptions, manuscripts, and archaeological sites, from the markets of Chang'an, modern-day Xi'an, China, to the bazaars of Samarkand. Sogdian traders were so respected in China that during the Tang dynasty, 618 to 907 CE, they were granted official positions and even married into the local elite, further intertwining their legacy with that of the regions they served. The merchants of Sogdiana embodied the spirit of the Silk Road, demonstrating that trade is not merely an exchange of goods, but a bridge between cultures, a catalyst for innovation, and a driver of human progress. Their legacy lives on, reminding us of the interconnectedness of the ancient world and the enduring power of commerce as a force for unity and transformation. The Sogdian language and its writing system were pivotal in establishing Sogdiana as a central hub of communication along the Silk Road. As a language, Sogdian was part of the Eastern Iranian branch of the Indo-European family, and it played a crucial role in the exchange of goods, ideas, and culture across the diverse regions it connected. More than just a medium of communication, the Sogdian language served as a bridge between the many civilizations that interacted along the Silk Road, from China to Persia and beyond. The Sogdian script was derived from the Aramaic alphabet, and it featured a versatile and efficient system well-suited for the demands of trade and correspondence. It was an al-shari, meaning it primarily represented consonants, with vowel sounds inferred from context. This characteristic made it adaptable for recording the sounds of other languages encountered by Sogdian traders. The script evolved over time, developing various forms, including cursive styles, which were particularly practical for merchants needing to write quickly and efficiently during their travels. What truly set the Sogdian language apart was its role as a lingua franca of the Silk Road. In a region where countless languages and dialects coexisted, Sogdian became a common tongue that facilitated communication among traders, officials, and travelers from different cultural backgrounds. Sogdian-speaking merchants could interact with Chinese officials, Indian traders, Persian artisans, and nomadic tribes, creating a unified network of commerce and diplomacy. This linguistic adaptability helped Sogdiana establish itself as an indispensable link in the global exchange of the ancient world. The Sogdian language was not only a tool for trade, but also a medium for the transmission of ideas. Religious texts, including Buddhist sutras, Zoroastrian scriptures, and Christian writings, were translated into Sogdian and disseminated across the Silk Road. This translation work demonstrates the intellectual vibrancy of Sogdian society and its commitment to preserving and sharing the diverse spiritual traditions it encountered. Manuscripts written in Sogdian have been discovered in places as far-flung as Dunhuang, China, and Mount Mug in Tajikistan, providing valuable insights into the religious and cultural exchanges of the time. The significance of the Sogdian language also extended to its influence on other scripts and languages. It played a role in shaping the development of the Uyghur script, which later influenced the creation of the Mongolian and Manchu writing systems. This legacy underscores the profound impact that Sogdian language and writing had on the linguistic landscape of Central Asia and beyond. Despite the decline of Sogdiana as a political and economic power in the 8th century following the Arab conquest, the Sogdian language continued to be used for several centuries, especially in religious contexts. Its survival in this capacity highlights the enduring cultural legacy of the Sogdians, even after their homeland had been absorbed into the Islamic world. Today, the Sogdian language and its script remain a vital area of study for linguists, historians, and archaeologists seeking to understand the complexities of the Silk Road. Inscriptions, manuscripts, and artifacts bearing the Sogdian script provide a window into the life of a civilization that thrived on interaction and exchange, demonstrating the power of language as a unifying force in an interconnected world. Sogdiana was a remarkable example of religious plurality, embodying the cultural and spiritual diversity that defined the Silk Road. This ancient region was a melting pot where various religious traditions coexisted, interacted, and influenced one another. The open and inclusive nature of Sogdian society allowed it to become a vital crossroads for the exchange of not only goods and ideas, but also spiritual practices and beliefs. The dominant religion in Sogdiana for much of its early history was Zoroastrianism. As the religion of the Achaemenid Persian Empire, which controlled the region during the 6th century BC, Zoroastrianism deeply influenced Sogdian culture and practices. The Sogdians worshipped Ahura Mazda, the supreme deity of Zoroastrianism, alongside other celestial entities like Mitra and Anahita. Fire temples, a hallmark of Zoroastrian worship, were common throughout the region, and rituals involving fire and purification played a central role in religious life. However, the Sogdians were never confined to a single religious tradition. The region's position along the Silk Road brought it into contact with a plethora of spiritual traditions from neighboring civilizations. Buddhism, for instance, made significant inroads into Sogdiana through its transmission from India to China. Buddhist monasteries and stupas appeared in major Sogdian cities such as Samarkand, where they became centers of learning and spiritual practice. Sogdian traders and monks were instrumental in translating Buddhist scriptures into various languages, helping to spread Buddhism across Central and East Asia. Christianity also found a foothold in Sogdiana, particularly in its Nestorian form. Nestorian Christianity, which emphasized the distinctiveness of Christ's human and divine natures, spread along the Silk Road and gained a following in Sogdiana during the late antique and early medieval periods. Sogdian Christians established churches and communities, and their religious texts in the Sogdian language have been discovered in archaeological sites, underscoring the region's active participation in the global Christian community of the time. Manichaeism, a syncretic religion founded by the prophet Mani in the 3rd century CE, also took root in Sogdiana. Combining elements of Zoroastrianism, Christianity, and Buddhism, Manichaeism found a receptive audience among the Sogdians, who were already accustomed to religious diversity and synthesis. Manichaean texts in Sogdian have been uncovered, illustrating the depth of its influence in the region. The Arab conquest of Sogdiana in the 8th century brought Islam to the region. While the introduction of Islam marked a significant shift in the religious landscape, it did not immediately erase the existing traditions. Instead, for several centuries, Sogdiana remained a place where multiple religions coexisted. Over time, however, Islam became the dominant faith, and many Sogdians converted, blending their pre-Islamic traditions with the new faith. Sogdiana's religious plurality was not merely a coexistence of separate traditions, but a dynamic process of interaction and mutual influence. Artistic motifs, architectural styles, and even theological ideas were exchanged among the different religions, creating a rich and syncretic cultural tapestry. This openness to diversity reflected the pragmatic and inclusive nature of Sogdian society, where the focus was often on the benefits of cooperation and coexistence. The legacy of Sogdiana's religious diversity is evident in the artifacts and texts uncovered by modern archaeologists. Frescoes depicting Zoroastrian rituals, Buddhist murals, Christian crosses, and Manichaean manuscripts all testify to the region's unique ability to harmonize different spiritual traditions. These remnants remind us that Sogdiana was not only a hub of commerce, but also a profound center of spiritual and cultural exchange. The art and architecture of Sogdiana stand as powerful testaments to its cultural richness and its position as a crossroads of civilizations. The Sogdians drew inspiration from the diverse influences that surrounded them, blending elements from Persian, Greek, Indian, Chinese, and Central Asian traditions to create a unique and vibrant artistic style. Their contributions to art and architecture reflect the cosmopolitan nature of their society and their openness to innovation and cultural exchange. Sogdian art is best known for its intricate and colorful frescoes, which adorn the walls of palaces, temples, and homes. These frescoes provide a vivid glimpse into the daily life, mythology, and beliefs of the Sogdian people. Scenes often depicted banquets, dances, hunting expeditions, and religious rituals, showcasing both the wealth of the elite and the importance of communal and spiritual activities. The frescoes were characterized by their dynamic compositions, bold colors, and detailed depictions of human figures, animals, and mythical creatures. These works often reflected a synthesis of styles, with Persian motifs, Hellenistic realism, and Indian iconography all blending seamlessly into a distinctly Sogdian aesthetic. Sogdian architecture was equally diverse and innovative. The region's cities, such as Samarkand, Afrasiab, and Panjikent, featured monumental structures that combined functionality with artistic expression. Fortified walls, grand gates, and citadels reflected the need for defense in a region frequently contested by powerful empires, while urban planning demonstrated a focus on trade, governance, and social life. Residential buildings often included courtyards and elaborately decorated interiors, designed to provide comfort and a sense of grandeur. Religious architecture was particularly significant in Sogdiana, reflecting the region's diverse spiritual traditions. Zoroastrian fire temples, Buddhist monasteries, Christian churches, and Manichaean shrines all coexisted in the urban and rural landscapes. Each type of structure had its own distinctive features, yet they often incorporated shared architectural elements that reflected the syncretic nature of Sogdian culture. For example, the design of fire temples might include decorative elements influenced by Buddhist or Hellenistic styles, illustrating the interplay between different traditions. Sogdian artisans were highly skilled in various crafts, producing exquisite works in metal, ceramics, textiles, and glass. Gold and silver vessels adorned with intricate reliefs and engravings were prized possessions, often used in both religious rituals and lavish banquets. Ceramics, including glazed pottery and terracotta figurines, displayed a blend of practicality and artistic sophistication. Sogdian textiles, especially silk, were highly sought after along the Silk Road, celebrated for their vibrant patterns and exceptional craftsmanship. These textiles often featured motifs that symbolized prosperity, protection, or spiritual significance, such as animals, plants, or celestial symbols. The artistic achievements of the Sogdians were not limited to their own region, but had a profound influence on the cultures with which they interacted. Sogdian artisans and architects were in demand across the Silk Road, contributing their skills to projects in China, Persia, and beyond. The influence of Sogdian art can be seen in the murals of the Dunhuang caves in China and in the decorative elements of Persian and Islamic art that followed the region's eventual integration into the Islamic world. Sogdian art and architecture also reflected the cosmopolitan values of its society. The integration of diverse styles and themes demonstrated the Sogdians' appreciation for the richness of other cultures and their ability to incorporate external influences into their own traditions. This adaptability and creativity allowed Sogdian art to thrive even as the region underwent significant political and cultural changes over the centuries. Modern archaeological discoveries have provided valuable insights into the artistic and architectural achievements of Sogdiana. Excavations at sites like Panjikent and Afrasiab have uncovered stunning frescoes, elaborate ceramics, and architectural remnants that continue to inspire awe and admiration. These findings remind us of the sophistication and ingenuity of the Sogdian people, highlighting their contributions to the cultural heritage of the Silk Road and the broader world. The political structure of Sogdiana was unique, shaped by its geography, history, and role as a trading hub along the Silk Road. Unlike many ancient civilizations that were organized into centralized empires, Sogdiana was a collection of semi-autonomous city-states. These city-states, including Samarkand, Bukhara, Panjikent, and Kujand, each operated as independent political entities, yet they shared cultural, linguistic, and economic ties that gave Sogdiana a sense of unity. The decentralized nature of Sogdiana's political system was largely influenced by its geography. The region's fertile river valleys, surrounded by deserts and mountains, encouraged the development of isolated urban centers. Each city-state was centered around a fortified citadel and supported by the surrounding agricultural lands. The cities were strategically located along trade routes, enabling them to thrive as key nodes in the Silk Road network. This strategic positioning made Sogdiana a vital link in the exchange of goods, ideas, and cultures, while also ensuring the economic prosperity of its city-states. Each Sogdian city-state was governed by local rulers, often referred to as kings or lords. These rulers were responsible for maintaining order, defending their territories, and overseeing trade and commerce. Despite their independence, the rulers of Sogdian city-states often formed alliances with one another for mutual benefit, especially in times of external threats or to facilitate trade. These alliances were not always formalized through centralized governance, but were based on pragmatic cooperation and shared interests. The political structure of Sogdiana also reflected its openness to external influences. Over the centuries, Sogdian city-states came under the control of various empires, including the Achaemenid Persians, Alexander the Great's Macedonian Empire, the Kushans, and the Sasanians. Despite these shifts in political dominance, the Sogdians retained a significant degree of autonomy in their internal affairs. Local elites continued to govern their cities, and Sogdian culture and traditions remained resilient, even as they absorbed elements from their foreign rulers. One of the defining characteristics of Sogdian city-states was their emphasis on trade and commerce. The rulers of these cities understood the importance of maintaining stability and fostering economic growth to attract merchants and travelers. They invested in infrastructure, such as roads, caravanserais, and marketplaces, to support trade. This focus on commerce not only enriched the city-states, but also reinforced their interconnectedness, creating a network that linked Sogdiana to the broader Silk Road. The political structure of Sogdiana also facilitated its role as a cultural melting pot. The independence of its city-states allowed for a high degree of diversity and innovation. Each city-state developed its own unique character, reflected in its art, architecture, and religious practices, while still contributing to the shared Sogdian identity. This decentralized system encouraged a dynamic and adaptable society that could respond to the challenges and opportunities of a rapidly changing world. Sogdiana's political structure faced significant challenges, particularly during periods of invasion and conquest. The Arab conquest in the 8th century brought an end to the political autonomy of the Sogdian city-states, integrating them into the Islamic Caliphate. However, even under foreign rule, the Sogdians continued to play an active role in regional politics and trade, demonstrating their resilience and adaptability. Archaeological evidence, such as inscriptions and coinage, provides valuable insights into the political organization of Sogdian city-states. These artifacts reveal the names of rulers, their titles, and their connections to neighboring regions, shedding light on the complex and interconnected political landscape of Sogdiana. The political structure of Sogdiana, characterized by its city-states and pragmatic alliances, was a key factor in the region's success and longevity. It enabled the Sogdians to maintain a degree of independence and cultural cohesion while participating in the larger political and economic networks of the ancient world. This model of governance, based on cooperation and adaptability, highlights the ingenuity and resourcefulness of the Sogdian people. Sogdiana's role as a cultural exchange hub along the Silk Road was one of its most defining features. Positioned at the crossroads of ancient trade routes, the region became a melting pot of ideas, beliefs, artistic traditions, and technologies. The Sogdians were not only active participants in this exchange, but also facilitators who connected the vast civilizations of China, Persia, India, and the Mediterranean. The cultural exchange that occurred in Sogdiana was a direct result of its geographical location and its vibrant trading economy. Merchants, pilgrims, scholars, and adventurers from different regions passed through Sogdian cities, bringing with them the customs and traditions of their homelands. This constant flow of people and goods transformed Sogdiana into a dynamic cultural hub where diverse influences merged and evolved. One of the most profound aspects of this exchange was the transmission of religious and philosophical ideas. Sogdiana was a critical conduit for the spread of Buddhism from India to China. Sogdian monks and translators played a key role in this process, translating Buddhist texts into Chinese and disseminating them along the Silk Road. Similarly, Zoroastrianism, the dominant religion in Sogdiana for much of its history, spread its teachings and rituals to neighboring regions. The presence of Nestorian Christianity and manichaeism in Sogdiana further underscores its role as a meeting ground for spiritual traditions. The exchange of artistic traditions was another hallmark of Sogdiana's cultural vibrancy. Sogdian art reflected a synthesis of styles, incorporating elements from Persian, Greek, Indian, and Chinese artistic traditions. This blend of influences is evident in the region's frescoes, sculptures, and textiles, which often featured motifs and techniques borrowed from multiple cultures. Sogdian artisans were highly skilled in adapting foreign styles to suit local tastes, creating works that were both innovative and representative of the broader cultural interactions of the Silk Road. Language and literature also benefited from the cultural exchange in Sogdiana. The Sogdian language became a lingua franca of the Silk Road, facilitating communication between people of different linguistic backgrounds. Sogdian texts, including religious manuscripts, letters, and contracts, provide a rich record of the interactions and exchanges that occurred in the region. These texts often contain references to multiple cultures, illustrating the interconnectedness of the ancient world. Cuisine and daily life in Sogdiana were similarly influenced by the region's interactions with other cultures. Ingredients, cooking techniques, and dining customs from Persia, India, and China found their way into Sogdian households, creating a fusion of culinary traditions. The exchange of agricultural practices and technologies, such as irrigation methods and crop varieties, further enriched Sogdian society and its economy. Sogdiana's role as a hub of cultural exchange extended beyond its borders. Sogdian merchants and settlers carried their culture with them as they traveled and established communities in other regions. These diaspora communities became centers of Sogdian influence, spreading their language, art, and customs to places as far as China and the Byzantine Empire. The famous Sogdian communities in Chinese cities like Chang'an, modern Xi'an, exemplify this phenomenon, where Sogdian merchants not only engaged in trade, but also introduced their traditions to local populations. The cultural exchange facilitated by Sogdiana was not a one-way process, but a dynamic interaction. Sogdian society absorbed and integrated foreign influences while simultaneously contributing its own innovations and ideas to the wider world. This process of exchange and synthesis made Sogdiana a key player in the intellectual and cultural development of the ancient world. Even after the decline of Sogdian political power following the Arab conquest, the legacy of its cultural exchange continued. The region's influence persisted in the arts, languages, and religions of the civilizations it had touched, leaving an indelible mark on the history of the Silk Road and the interconnected world it helped to create. Sogdiana's prosperity was largely built on its position as a central node along the Silk Road, the ancient network of trade routes that spanned from China to the Mediterranean. The economic success of the Sogdian city-states was a direct result of their ability to control key sections of these trade routes, facilitating the exchange of goods, ideas, and wealth between the East and the West. Sogdian merchants, renowned for their skill and reliability, became intermediaries who bridged the diverse cultures of Asia and Europe, helping to create a vast and interconnected economic landscape. At the heart of Sogdiana's economy was the thriving trade in luxury goods, including silk, spices, precious metals, textiles, and fine ceramics. The Sogdians were particularly famous for their silk production, which was highly sought after along the Silk Road. Their cities became renowned centers of craftsmanship, where skilled artisans produced exquisite textiles that were prized by consumers across the ancient world. Sogdian silk, often adorned with intricate patterns and designs, became a symbol of wealth and luxury, and it was in high demand from the courts of China, Persia, and Central Asia. In addition to silk, Sogdian merchants traded a wide variety of goods, including glassware, pottery, wool, and precious stones. They also dealt in agricultural products such as grain and fruits, which were cultivated in the fertile valleys of the region. This agricultural surplus supported the population of Sogdiana and fueled its trade networks, ensuring that the cities remained prosperous and stable. Sogdiana's strategic position also made it a crucial transit point for goods traveling between the East and the West. Chinese silk, for example, was transported through Sogdiana on its way to Persia and the Roman Empire, while Persian carpets and glassware made their way eastward to China. The exchange of these goods was not merely commercial, but also symbolic of the broader cultural interactions that defined the Silk Road. As Sogdian merchants moved along the trade routes, they brought with them not only products, but also ideas, religious beliefs, and artistic influences, contributing to the rich cultural tapestry of the region. The Sogdians' role as middlemen in this vast trade network gave them immense wealth and influence. Their merchant class was highly organized, and many of the Sogdian cities developed into bustling marketplaces, where goods from all corners of the known world were exchanged. These markets were often supported by caravanserais, large inns and trading posts that provided shelter and supplies for traveling merchants. These caravanserais became key meeting points for traders of all backgrounds, further reinforcing Sogdiana's role as a hub of commerce and cultural exchange. Sogdian merchants were also highly innovative in their approach to business. They developed sophisticated systems of credit, contracts, and debt management that facilitated long-distance trade. The use of letters of credit, promissory notes, and standardized currency allowed merchants to conduct business with relative security, even when dealing with unfamiliar trading partners across vast distances. These practices were advanced for their time and laid the foundation for the development of modern trade systems in later centuries. The economic prosperity of Sogdiana also relied on the region's ability to maintain a stable political environment. While Sogdiana was divided into independent city-states, they were united in their commitment to the economic benefits of trade. Rulers and elites supported trade by providing protection and infrastructure, ensuring that merchants could travel safely and that goods could be transported efficiently. In times of external threat, such as invasions or raids, Sogdian rulers formed alliances to defend their trade routes and maintain their economic dominance. In addition to facilitating trade, Sogdiana also played a key role in the dissemination of new technologies and agricultural practices. The Sogdians were instrumental in spreading the techniques of irrigation and crop cultivation to other parts of Central Asia, China, and Persia. Their knowledge of farming and water management allowed them to cultivate crops in the arid regions of Central Asia, ensuring that their cities had a reliable food supply to support both their population and their vibrant trade networks. The wealth generated by trade allowed Sogdian city-states to invest in urban development and infrastructure. Their cities featured grand marketplaces, palaces, and temples, reflecting the prosperity and cultural vibrancy of the region. Trade also brought an influx of luxury goods, which were displayed in the homes of the Sogdian elite, further emphasizing the social and economic importance of commerce in Sogdian society. The decline of Sogdiana in the 8th century, following the Arab conquest, marked the end of an era of economic dominance. However, the region's economic legacy continued to influence the broader Silk Road trade. The techniques of trade, commerce, and credit developed by the Sogdians were adopted by later merchants, ensuring that Sogdiana's influence continued long after its political power had waned. The routes and systems established by the Sogdians remained central to the Silk Road trade, keeping the region firmly in the flow of global commerce even as it was absorbed into new political structures. The economic prosperity of Sogdiana was not merely a result of its geographic position or its material wealth, but also of its people's ingenuity, adaptability, and entrepreneurial spirit. Through their role as middlemen and their integration of diverse cultural practices, the Sogdians were able to build an economy that was both sophisticated and resilient, leaving an indelible mark on the history of global trade. The legacy of Sogdiana is a testament to the region's pivotal role in the development of the Silk Road and its lasting influence on the cultures and civilizations that surrounded it. Sogdiana's rise as a cultural and economic hub, along with its rich traditions in art, religion, and commerce, left an enduring mark on history, even as the region eventually declined under external pressures. Understanding the legacy and decline of Sogdiana provides insights into the broader dynamics of the ancient world, where empires rose and fell, yet the cultural contributions of regions like Sogdiana continued to shape the course of history. The Sogdian legacy is perhaps most evident in the realm of cultural exchange. As one of the key intermediaries along the Silk Road, Sogdiana played a crucial role in the transmission of knowledge, religion, and art between East and West. The Sogdians were instrumental in facilitating the spread of Buddhism from India to China, helping to lay the groundwork for the spread of one of the world's great religions. Sogdian merchants also played an important role in the dissemination of Zoroastrianism, Christianity, and manichaeism, contributing to the spread of these faiths across Central Asia and beyond. The Sogdians' ability to adapt and integrate foreign ideas into their own cultural framework allowed them to serve as conduits for the exchange of not only goods, but also philosophical and religious ideas. Sogdiana's artistic legacy is also profound. The region's frescoes, textiles, ceramics, and metalwork reflect a fusion of influences from Persia, Greece, India, China, and other cultures along the Silk Road. The Sogdians excelled in blending these diverse artistic traditions, creating a distinct style that was both cosmopolitan and uniquely Sogdian. Their art was highly influential, leaving traces in the artistic traditions of neighboring regions, including Central Asia, China, and even the Byzantine Empire. The Sogdians' contributions to the development of artistic techniques, such as the use of vibrant colors, intricate patterns, and a realistic depiction of human figures, had a lasting impact on the art of the ancient world. In addition to their artistic and cultural contributions, the Sogdians also left a lasting imprint on the development of trade and commerce. Their sophisticated systems of credit, contracts, and long-distance trade helped shape the economic systems of the Silk Road. The Sogdians were among the first to develop organized trade networks that spanned across vast distances, facilitating the exchange of goods, ideas, and technologies between China, Persia, India, and the Mediterranean. The systems they pioneered in trade, finance, and commercial organization would later influence the development of medieval and early modern trade networks, ensuring that their legacy lived on long after their political power had waned. Despite its vibrant cultural and economic contributions, the decline of Sogdiana was inevitable, given the external forces at play. The rise of the Arab Empire in the 7th and 8th centuries marked a turning point for Sogdiana. The Arabs sought to expand their influence across Central Asia, and after several decades of conflict and resistance, Sogdiana eventually fell under Arab control. The city of Samarkand, one of Sogdiana's most important cultural and economic centers, was captured by the Arabs in 711 CE, effectively ending the independence of the region. The Arab conquest had profound consequences for Sogdiana. The introduction of Islam gradually replaced the region's pre-Islamic religious traditions, such as Zoroastrianism and Buddhism, although the process was slow and often met with resistance. Sogdian culture, while influenced by the Islamic world, began to lose its distinctiveness as it was absorbed into the larger Islamic caliphate. The political autonomy that the Sogdian city-states had enjoyed for centuries came to an end, and the region became part of the broader Islamic world. In addition to the Arab conquest, Sogdiana faced internal challenges that contributed to its decline. The constant political fragmentation of the region, with its many independent city-states, made it vulnerable to external attacks. The lack of centralized governance and the infighting between rival city-states weakened the region's ability to defend itself against powerful invaders. The Sogdian elites, who had once been able to maintain a degree of autonomy through strategic alliances, found themselves increasingly unable to protect their cities from the growing power of the Arabs and other regional empires. The decline of Sogdiana was also marked by a shift in the economic and political landscape of Central Asia. As the Arabs expanded their control over the region, new trade routes and economic centers began to emerge. The Silk Road, while still vital, shifted in its direction and focus, with cities like Baghdad, Damascus, and later, Constantinople, becoming more prominent in global trade. The rise of new powers and the reorganization of trade routes diminished Sogdiana's role as a key commercial hub. In the aftermath of its decline, Sogdiana's cities were largely abandoned or repurposed. Samarkand, once a thriving cultural and economic center, fell into relative obscurity for a time, although it would later rise to prominence again under the Timurid dynasty in the 14th century. The physical remnants of Sogdiana, such as its grand palaces, temples, and city walls, fell into ruin, with much of the region's architectural splendor lost to history. However, the cultural legacy of Sogdiana endured, with its influence evident in the languages, art, and religious traditions of the peoples who followed in its wake. Archaeological discoveries in the region have helped to uncover the rich history of Sogdiana, providing valuable insights into its culture, economy, and political structure. Excavations at sites like Panjikent, Afrasiab, and Samarkand have revealed stunning frescoes, inscriptions, and artifacts that testify to the region's once great prosperity and cultural achievements. These discoveries continue to illuminate the history of Sogdiana, ensuring that its legacy is preserved for future generations. Although Sogdiana's political and economic influence may have waned, its cultural contributions and its role in the history of the Silk Road remain crucial to understanding the interconnectedness of the ancient world. The Sogdians' ability to integrate diverse cultures, their contributions to the spread of religions, and their innovations in trade and commerce have left a lasting imprint on the history of Central Asia and beyond. The decline of Sogdiana may have marked the end of an era, but its legacy continues to resonate throughout the history of human civilization. Sogdiana played a pivotal role in the spread of religious beliefs and practices along the Silk Road, serving as a conduit for the transmission of several major religions. Its strategic location as a crossroads between the East and West made it an ideal space for the interaction of diverse spiritual traditions. The Sogdians themselves were deeply religious people, and their cities became centers where a rich array of beliefs converged, creating a unique cultural and religious melting pot. The legacy of Sogdiana in the religious history of Central Asia and beyond is profound, as its inhabitants facilitated the spread of Buddhism, Zoroastrianism, Manichaeism, and later, Islam. One of the most significant contributions of Sogdiana to the spread of religion was its role in the transmission of Buddhism. As a central point along the trade routes that connected India to China, Sogdiana became a crucial intermediary in the propagation of Buddhist teachings. The Sogdians, who were well-versed in multiple languages, acted as translators and mediators, bridging the gap between Indian Buddhists and Chinese Buddhists. Sogdian monks, scholars, and merchants played a critical role in translating Buddhist texts into Chinese, ensuring that the teachings of the Buddha reached new audiences. Buddhist images, sculptures, and scriptures were transported through Sogdiana, and the region itself became home to a number of Buddhist communities. As a result, Sogdiana not only served as a gateway for the spread of Buddhism, but also as a place where Buddhist ideas were adapted and integrated into the cultural fabric of Central Asia and beyond. Another major religious tradition that flourished in Sogdiana was Zoroastrianism. As one of the dominant religions in the region before the advent of Islam, Zoroastrianism profoundly shaped Sogdian culture and society. The Sogdians inherited many of their religious practices from the ancient Persian Empire, and their cities were home to fire temples, where Zoroastrian priests conducted their rituals. The religion of Zoroastrianism, with its dualistic cosmology of good and evil and its emphasis on the worship of the supreme god Ahura Mazda, had a lasting influence on the people of Sogdiana. Furthermore, Sogdian merchants helped spread Zoroastrianism beyond their borders, carrying its teachings along the Silk Road and introducing it to other regions. Even after the decline of Zoroastrianism in Sogdiana following the Arab conquest, its influence continued to resonate in the religious landscape of Central Asia. In addition to Buddhism and Zoroastrianism, Manichaeism, a syncretic religion founded by the prophet Mani in the 3rd century CE, also found a foothold in Sogdiana. The religion, which combined elements of Zoroastrianism, Christianity, and Buddhism, gained followers across the region and beyond. Manichaean missionaries traveled through Sogdiana, using the region's thriving trade routes to spread their teachings. The Sogdian language became one of the key languages of Manichaean scripture, and many religious texts were translated into Sogdian, allowing the religion to reach a wider audience. The region's religious tolerance, combined with its position as a major cultural and commercial hub, made Sogdiana an ideal environment for the propagation of Manichaeism. The religious diversity of the region during this period was remarkable, and the Sogdians were among the first to embrace and spread Manichaean ideas along the Silk Road. The arrival of Islam in the 7th and 8th centuries marked a major shift in the religious landscape of Sogdiana. The expansion of the Arab Caliphate brought Islam to the region, and while the process of conversion was gradual, Islam eventually became the dominant religion in Central Asia. The Sogdians were initially resistant to the Arab conquerors, and their cities, including Samarkand and Bukhara, experienced fierce resistance to Islamic rule. However, over time, the Sogdians began to integrate Islam into their lives, and the religion became deeply ingrained in the region's cultural identity. The Sogdians' knowledge of trade, administration, and language made them valuable intermediaries in the spread of Islamic culture and practices across Central Asia. Many Sogdians converted to Islam, and they played an instrumental role in the establishment of Islamic institutions, including mosques and schools, in the cities of Central Asia. Despite the eventual dominance of Islam in the region, the legacy of Sogdiana's religious diversity continued to shape the religious practices and beliefs of the peoples in Central Asia. Many elements of pre-Islamic religions, including Zoroastrianism, Buddhism, and Manichaeism, persisted in local customs, rituals, and art even after the Arab conquest. In some cases, syncretic practices emerged, where elements of Islam were combined with earlier religious traditions, creating unique expressions of faith. The Sogdians' ability to adapt and blend different religious beliefs was one of the region's most enduring characteristics, and this religious syncretism influenced the religious culture of Central Asia for centuries. Sogdiana also played an important role in the spread of Christianity. Nestorian Christianity, which had spread from the Eastern Roman Empire, found a strong presence in Sogdiana, particularly in the city of Samarkand. Nestorian missionaries traveled through the region, and many Sogdians converted to Christianity, establishing a network of churches and communities across Central Asia. The Nestorian Church was known for its intellectual and theological contributions, and Sogdian scholars were key players in translating Christian texts into various languages, including Syriac and Chinese. The legacy of Nestorian Christianity in Sogdiana can still be seen in the region's ancient churches, inscriptions, and artifacts, many of which have been uncovered through archaeological excavation. Religious exchange was not limited to the spread of traditional faiths, but also included the movement of religious texts, artifacts, and symbols. The Sogdians became adept at creating religious artifacts that were influenced by multiple traditions, including Buddhist statues, Zoroastrian fire altars, and Islamic inscriptions. These objects, which blended artistic traditions from different cultures, became a powerful tool for religious expression and communication. The Sogdians' artistic skills allowed them to create religious art that was both deeply rooted in their own traditions and receptive to the influences of neighboring cultures, creating a unique religious aesthetic that was shared across the Silk Road. The role of Sogdiana in the spread of religion highlights the region's cultural and intellectual openness. Sogdiana was not merely a place where religions passed through, but a place where they thrived, adapted, and transformed. The legacy of religious exchange in Sogdiana is a testament to the region's capacity for cultural adaptation and its enduring impact on the spiritual and intellectual history of Central Asia and the wider world. As a nexus for religious and cultural dialogue, Sogdiana helped shape the religious landscape of the Silk Road and played an integral role in the dissemination of ideas and beliefs that continue to influence global religious practices today. The ancient civilization of Sogdiana, often considered a forgotten empire in the grand sweep of history, has increasingly come to light in recent years through archaeological discoveries and modern research. The ongoing exploration of ancient Sogdian cities, burial sites, and artifacts has shed new light on the sophisticated nature of this ancient civilization, revealing aspects of its cultural, economic, and social life that were previously unknown. Archaeology has not only contributed to our understanding of the Sogdian people's daily lives, but also highlighted their connections with neighboring cultures, providing invaluable insights into the wider world of the Silk Road. One of the most significant archaeological sites in Sogdiana is the ancient city of Samarkand, once a major cultural and economic center. Excavations have revealed impressive ruins, including the foundations of grand palaces, temples, and marketplaces, providing a glimpse into the grandeur of the city in its heyday. The discovery of beautifully preserved frescoes, many of which depict scenes from daily life, religious rituals, and mythological figures, has been instrumental in understanding the artistic traditions of the Sogdians. These frescoes, often found in the ruins of private homes and temples, reveal the Sogdians' deep engagement with both local and foreign artistic influences, blending elements of Persian, Greek, Indian, and Chinese art into a distinctive Sogdian style. Another important archaeological site is the ancient city of Afrasiab, located near present-day Samarkand. The ruins of Afrasiab have yielded a wealth of artifacts, including pottery, coins, and inscriptions, which provide valuable insights into Sogdian culture and its interactions with neighboring civilizations. Excavations at Afrasiab have also uncovered large murals that depict scenes of Sogdian life, showcasing the region's wealth, religious diversity, and cosmopolitan nature. These discoveries underscore the centrality of Samarkand and Afrasiab to the Silk Road, where goods, ideas, and cultures from across Eurasia converged. Panjikent, another key site in Sogdiana, has been described as a Pompeii of Central Asia due to the remarkable preservation of its ancient buildings and artifacts. Excavations at Panjikent have uncovered entire residential complexes, complete with painted walls and decorated ceramics, providing a rare and detailed look into the domestic lives of the Sogdians. The discovery of an impressive collection of Sogdian manuscripts and inscriptions, many of which are written in the Sogdian language, has been particularly important in understanding the region's linguistic and literary traditions. These manuscripts, often religious or commercial in nature, offer a window into the intellectual life of the Sogdian elite, revealing the complexity of their social, political, and religious thoughts. Sogdian tombs scattered across the region have also provided rich archaeological finds, offering insights into Sogdian burial practices, art, and beliefs. Tombs discovered at sites like Kulbulak and Shari-Zohak contain elaborate grave goods, including jewelry, pottery, textiles, and even weapons, indicating the high status of the individuals buried there. These finds highlight the importance of trade and craftsmanship in Sogdian society, as many of the objects found in these tombs were produced locally or imported from other parts of the Silk Road. The tombs also reveal the religious diversity of the region, with some graves containing Zoroastrian fire altars, Buddhist statuary, and Islamic symbols, reflecting the coexistence of multiple faiths in the region. In addition to these physical remains, the Sogdian language itself has been a key source of knowledge. Sogdian was an Eastern Iranian language that served as the lingua franca of the Silk Road, allowing merchants, diplomats, and travelers from diverse regions to communicate and exchange ideas. Written in both the Aramaic-derived Sogdian script and the more familiar Persian script, Sogdian inscriptions have been found on monuments, coins, and manuscripts, providing valuable historical records. The discovery of Sogdian texts, many of which were preserved on paper, wood, and leather, has opened new avenues for the study of the region's political, religious, and economic history. These texts offer detailed accounts of trade, diplomacy, and even personal correspondence, shedding light on the everyday lives of the Sogdian people and their relationships with other civilizations. The role of the Sogdian merchants and their trade networks is particularly well documented through archaeological evidence. The Sogdians were known for their long-distance trade, and numerous artifacts found in archaeological sites across Central Asia, China, Persia, and even as far west as the Roman Empire attest to their extensive commercial activities. Coins, pottery, textiles, and other trade goods from Sogdiana have been discovered in regions as distant as China's Xinjiang province and the Iranian plateau, illustrating the vastness of the Sogdian trade network. These objects, many of which bear Sogdian inscriptions or motifs, provide compelling evidence of the far-reaching impact of Sogdian commerce. In recent decades, the advent of new technologies such as ground-penetrating radar and remote sensing has enabled archaeologists to uncover previously hidden aspects of Sogdiana. These technologies have made it possible to identify buried structures, roads, and even entire settlements that were once lost to history. Remote sensing has been particularly useful in mapping the vast urban landscapes of ancient Sogdiana, allowing researchers to trace the layout of its cities and the development of its infrastructure. This technological advancement has provided new opportunities for understanding how Sogdian cities grew, how trade routes were organized, and how the region was governed. Modern scholars have also turned to archaeological findings to reassess the role of Sogdiana in the broader context of the Silk Road. While Sogdiana was once overshadowed by more prominent empires such as Persia, China, and Rome, recent research has highlighted the region's critical role as a cultural, economic, and religious bridge between East and West. The discoveries at Sogdian sites have helped to illuminate the complexities of the Silk Road, showing that the region was not merely a passive participant in trade, but an active player that shaped the course of history through its interactions with neighboring cultures. The ongoing excavation of Sogdian sites has also prompted a re-evaluation of the region's contributions to art and architecture. The blending of diverse artistic traditions in Sogdian art, which drew on Persian, Indian, Greek, and Chinese influences, has long been recognized as one of the region's most distinctive features. The preservation of Sogdian frescoes, sculptures, and metalwork offers scholars a rare glimpse into the artistic achievements of a civilization that thrived in a world of cultural exchange. These discoveries continue to influence the study of Central Asian art, helping to establish Sogdiana as a key player in the development of ancient art and architecture. As the field of Sogdian studies grows, it is clear that the legacy of this ancient civilization is far from forgotten. The archaeological discoveries of the past century, along with modern research methodologies, have allowed historians and archaeologists to piece together the story of Sogdiana in unprecedented detail. The excavation of Sogdian sites, the analysis of artifacts, and the study of ancient texts are transforming our understanding of this remarkable civilization. While much of Sogdiana's history was lost to time, these discoveries are ensuring that its contributions to the Silk Road, to trade, culture, religion, and art are being rediscovered and appreciated by a new generation of scholars and enthusiasts. In conclusion, the story of Sogdiana is a remarkable tale of cultural exchange, economic prowess, and religious diversity. This forgotten civilization, with its strategic location along the Silk Road, played a crucial role in shaping the flow of goods, ideas, and beliefs between the East and West. Through its vibrant cities, artistic achievements, and lasting influence on the trade networks that spanned across Asia and beyond, Sogdiana contributed to the rich tapestry of human history. As we continue to uncover the secrets of this ancient civilization through modern archaeological discoveries and research, we gain a deeper understanding of the interconnectedness of the ancient world. Sogdiana's legacy, though at times overshadowed by the rise and fall of empires, continues to shine through in the cultural, religious, and economic exchanges that have shaped the world as we know it today. By remembering the Sogdians and their vital role in the development of the Silk Road, we are reminded that history is not just a series of events, but a web of interconnected stories. Each civilization, no matter how seemingly small or forgotten, contributes to the larger narrative of human civilization. As we reflect on the legacy of Sogdiana, let us appreciate the diverse and enduring connections that have shaped our world and recognize the importance of preserving and sharing these stories for generations to come.